Hi folks, good morning. Last evening there was a storm, and this morning we discovered leaves all around the place that we had to clean up. And now everything is nice and settled, and you can hear the song of a turtle dove in the backdrop. In my last talk, I had come unprepared, and similarly, I am unprepared, even now. However, there's a lot to speak about. There's a lot of stuff that is taking place. The economy is in a state of upheaval. There are situations yet to unfold. Deaths intriguing low up till now, whose number may increase exponentially tomorrow. We have very famous film actors dropping down, as most people do, after sickness or an old age, and so on and so forth. Well, this is the drama of life. Yeah, this the drama of life that Shakespeare had in Macbeth, spoken in a soliloquy. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow creeps on this petty pace from day to day, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. And, well, if that were the essence of life, then life would be not worth living. However, life has got an essence. And if you go back to my previous talk, I talked about being able to sort out the formless from the form, the spiritual from the material. And the last time we thought about a person facing up to an impending death is from a recent interview of Irfan Khan, who talks about the idea of letting go. Life is essentially, when it is about paramount thought process of letting go, allowing things to take place. And one can only allow things to take place when one is with the essence of this existence. There's an entire plethora of events taking place in the galaxies, in the areas of space unknown to us, in the microcosm unseen by us, and all over. There is a commonality to all these events. Similarly, inside our bodies, the physiology that is happening, and the healing that takes place, the thinking that goes on, and the evocation of these thoughts through the spoken words that takes place. All this is an activity which is governed by that unseen entity, that supreme self. And that is a wonderful way to be able to think about life, to be in a spiritual realm and consider the oneness of all situations. Now, taking this talk a little forward and coming to a point of conclusion, I think it would be a very sensible thing to take help from the Buddha. The Buddha came out with his Four Noble Truths. And the first truth was that this world is full of suffering, which he called the dukkha. The second truth was that we suffer because we cling on to ideas, believing them to be permanent. Although this world is in a state of flux, yet we hold on to, we get attached to situations, believing that they remain forever. Although this is not the case. And this is something like there is a mudslide where all the houses of the village are being swept away, and the denizens are holding onto the pillars and posts inside their homes, thinking of security, whereas the entire piece of land is going to crumble up. And that's insane. The third noble truth is that there is a diagnosis to this dukkha, to this insanity. We can pinpoint out the cause of the suffering, provided we are able to have the correct perspective about the situation at hand. And the fourth noble truth is, like the doctor, after making a diagnosis, is able to treat the disease and the patient. So, by following the eightfold path, which comes after the fourth noble truth, we can get rid of this suffering, and we can again come back to a state of normalcy and health. The first of the points in the eightfold path is to be able to think correctly, because if you're not able to think properly, how can we be able to have a right plan of action? This natural corollary is that the second point in the eightfold path is to have right action, and the third is to be able to see things in the correct perspective. It's only when we light up the path will we be able to walk upon it. And the fourth is to have right speech, because it is so important. It is pertinent to our lives that we speak the things that we can address the situations with truthfulness, with some sort of sensitivity regarding the contemporary situation, and so on and so forth. The practicality of having the right speech and to be able to speak truth. Now, the fifth point in this eightfold path is to be able to follow the middle path, to not get into extremes, because it's always sensible to stay in the middle. It saves us, it protects us from eventualities that happen on being on the other extremes. Now, the sixth point in this is to have compassion. Compassion essentially means to be able to feel the pain of other people, other creatures, to be able to step into the shoes of other beings, and at the same time be able to address their problems with love and kindness. That is compassion. To be able to feed the people who are hungry, to be able to treat the people who are ill, to be able to be of some use with this grandiosity of existence. That is compassion. The seventh point is to have the spirit of non-violence, not violate the essential fabric of existence, especially life, not to kill. Either in the battlefield or in the kitchen, or when we are up and about this world, to be able to live a life of peace. And lastly, to be able to experience the entire gamut of this existence, the real and the unreal, through the practice of dhyana or meditation, to be able to feel the oneness of all situations through dhyana. So folks, I hope my earlier lecture and this one has inspired a few of you to feel in charge of your thought process, because this is a time when we are coping with anxiety, we are coping with uncertainty, and I hope I have been able to instill some positivity and meaning to your thought process. So hope to see you again in my coming videos. Goodbye.